Tarik Talk. Your host, Tarik Mendes, takes you on a journey with guests from all around the world. Broadcasting around the world. Around the world. This is Tarik Talk.
Alright guys, hello. Today I'm in Mena Contemporary with Heidi Kirkably did I get that right, Heidi?
Yes, almost.
Yeah, almost. Sorry. Would you mind telling us the correct way to pronounce? My apologies.
Well, in English, I suppose we could say the Heidi Kirkeby.
Kirkably, yeah. It's a beautiful name. I love that name. And we are at the ASCAF residency program. Thank you so much for being here today with me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
I know you have the opening reception coming up, so thank you for making the time to meet with me. I'm very grateful. Right now we're in her studio, and I can't wait for you guys to see with all the videos and pictures I'm going to take and share. It's beautiful, especially her shoes. I love how her shoes has paint splashes on it. Very, very cool.
I splash everywhere.
Yes, no, I love that. I love like the small details. Do you want to start by telling us a little bit about yourself, please?
Well, yes, I am Norwegian. I live in Oslo, and I have my studio there. And well, I'm a visual artist. I'm a painter.
An amazing one at that, I must say. It's beautiful work. Because, you know, I saw your work on pictures and videos, but it never does the justice. And I love the energy. It's so, like, fluid and free, and it really captures the viewer. Like, it sucks you in almost, and, like, it takes you, like, you know, it feels like I'm in a dream. I don't know how to describe. Like, you know, like the peace. I feel a lot of peace when I fly. And seeing your paintings give me, like, that tranquility, that relaxation, you know what I mean, like that deep breath. So it's really beautiful.
Because that's something I really tried to make. I tried to paint atmospheres.
Oh, okay.
There are nature abstractions, but the atmospheres are the most important things to me. And then you can feel different kinds of atmospheres when you see the paintings.
Beautiful. I love that.
I can feel them, and the viewer will see different things depending on what their experience.
And do you like hearing like feedback on your work? Like, is that something you like, or you kind of avoid? Because a lot of artists, like, they don't want to hear anything, and they also don't like constructive criticism. But some people love, you know, what the viewer and the experience that they have with the art. Are you like, is that something you look forward to, like hearing what people see and what they feel like when seeing your artwork?
Yes, I like people telling me what they see, and you know, to be a better painter, you always need to hear the negative things as well,
yes,
and
that's
maybe
true.
try to do better
Yes.
the next time. So it's better that people say what they really think, and then you can appreciate it when they say something positive as well, if you know they are telling what they really feel.
Absolutely. And what's your creative process like?
Well, if you think about my inspiration, is that what you're thinking about? Yes. Well, obviously it's the nature that's the most inspiring thing for me. So I do a lot of photos, and I get inspiration from wherever I am.
Oh wow!
And
okay.
also from other artists, and from going to museums and galleries. And
so that was actually. Oh, sorry.
Well, I'm really focused on the colors. They are very important to me. So I start by blending the colors to try to make some decisions of what I'm going to make. But after that, the process is really free. I try to do the paintings in an intuitive way, to just let it flow and not think too much. And when it comes to a point, I have to start thinking and to find out what to keep and what to paint over. So it results in many layers of painting.
I definitely get the vibe, like, as I said, like, it's very peaceful. It also reminds me of, like, people's auras, you know, like, the energy around their body. That's the vibe I get. And you mentioned, like, taking pictures. So when you're in nature, are you, like, taking pictures of everything and then coming into the studio and painting that?
I do the pictures, but I don't paint exactly what I have been photographing, but it's a kind of photo to remember what I saw, and I never paint the same. But
Yeah.
it's a kind of inspiration in colors and composition, and then it turns out to be something completely else.
Got it. And do you find yourself like always thinking, or are you able to like be in the moment and enjoy like being in nature and going to museums, or is your mind like always thinking about like the next piece of art you're going to make?
Well, I am in the moment, but in some place in back of the mind, I always try to.
Are you able
store
to
the
like
things I
balance
want
both? Because I'm
Yes.
always thinking like I wish I could like step back and relax. I'm always like thinking the next art, the next piece that I want to do. Like, are you able to like separate that and be like, okay, this is I'm going to relax and enjoy this, and then when I'm in the studio, create?
Yeah, well, I think I can relax in the nature, and to paint nature abstractions is also a way to highlight the value of nature in today's hectic society. Because I think we need that calm and that we can feel when we are out in the nature.
And I have to say, you have such good energy. I was just stuck in traffic, and I was like, oh my god, I don't want to be late to our interview. And just like your paintings, like as soon as I got here, very peaceful, very relaxed, and I was like, okay, let me calm down, let me chill, let me relax, you know. So I love it, like, because you know, a lot of times, sometimes the art doesn't really, like, you can't really connect the artist and the art because they're so different, you know what I mean? But you are so much like your art. It's so peaceful, chill, relaxing, and inviting. So thank you again for having me in your beautiful space.
Thank you.
And then, are you an artist that likes to create in the morning or nighttime? Like, do you have a preference, or whenever inspiration comes to you?
Well, I usually paint in daytime while others go to work, so then I can be with family and friends
okay,
in the
cool.
evening. So I'm not that kind of artist painting all night and sleeping in the day. I have regular
Yeah, regular
hours.
life. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
I like that.
Oh, that's amazing balance. And are you like when you get stuck, and let's say like you don't have any good ideas in the moment, how are you able to like go through that and kind of get inspired again to start creating?
Well, the painting is very frustrating from times to times, because sometimes you don't manage to do what you want.
Yeah.
But I have a creative diary where I write things, I paint colors, I cut out things, I put in there. So when I need some new ideas, I go back and look in my diary to find things, and
Oh,
maybe
wow,
I
okay.
find something that can be used that I have collected years ago.
Yeah.
And also, I just have to start.
Yeah.
Just have to blend some colors and
Yeah.
then start, and then it happens.
Do you have like a big archive that sometimes you go back to get inspired and redo things?
Well, as I told you, I have this creative diary that I use, and I also sometimes paint over my old paintings.
Oh, you
because-
do?
Yeah, because I don't like them that much any longer.
Yeah.
And I think I can see something new I can do with them, and then there are new layers and layers over that again.
Oh,
So they
wow.
become something new.
I like that, because I've interviewed previous artists where they tell me, including myself, like if I paint something I don't like it, I just throw it out, you know. But how does that work for you? Like when you're creating and it's not the way you planned it to be, do you put it to the side, or do you like start new, or you kind of push yourself to finish that?
Well, very often they turn out not to be what I anticipated. And sometimes I am surprised what I have made because I didn't think it would be like that.
Yeah.
But sometimes that turns out good, and other times it doesn't. So
Yeah.
then when I feel a little stuck, I have to put it aside, and I can go watching it for many weeks before I know what to do.
Oh wow, that's very nice. And you mentioned you go to museums. Is that something that you do a lot, like going to galleries and going to museums for fun?
Yes, I do that a lot. And now, especially when I'm here in New Jersey and New York, I've decided to study the art of Helen Frankenthaler.
Oh wow.
So I have been to museums, and then I've also been to the Frankenthaler Foundation.
Oh wow.
So I've seen a lot of her art,
Mhm.
and I have read about her, and I used the inspiration from her art during this residency to make my
Yeah.
own paintings.
Uh-huh. And you mentioned your creative journal, like your creative diary. Do you keep that with you as you walk? Like you go to museums and like live your life and write down ideas, or it's just like it's like in the studio for you?
No, it's in the studio.
It's in the
because
studio.
It's, I have a big book. It's too big
To carry.
around.
I can imagine.
I find my only small one
Oh,
here.
I see that. And do you keep like all of them? Like as soon as they're finished and there's no more space, do you keep all of them?
Oh yes.
Oh
I
wow,
do.
that's so cool. And like what's the earliest one you have? Like the first one, like around the year.
Well, sorry, what did you?
Like what was the first one you did? Like what year was the first one that you have? Like one of your creative journals.
Oh, that must have been some 15 years ago or something.
Wow.
The first
That's
creative diary,
amazing.
yeah.
That takes a lot of discipline. Good job.
But
I
I'm
love
not
that.
writing it every day. It's just when I
When you get the
have some
inspiration, yeah.
inspiration and ideas I want to write down or to paint or
Yeah.
sketch.
Oh well. And going back to your creative process, are you an artist that when you're creating, do you like to hear people's input while you're creating, or do you prefer like once you're finished with the painting to hear like constructive criticism, whether it's good or bad?
Well, I work in a space where we are many artists, so we do comment each other's works, but of course when you're in the middle of something and you know this is not what it's going to be, then criticism is not very useful because it's going to be something else.
Yeah.
So we'll have to wait for the criticism till you feel now I don't know what more to do.
Oh wow, that's
And
very
I
nice.
reached a level where I need some advice.
I like that. I like that. And I noticed that all the paintings hanging in your studio, they're not framed. Is that because you're going to roll them up and take them back home with you?
Yes, it is.
Very smart, very
Because
smart.
I like to paint them on frames.
Yeah.
So you see some of them have frames, but when I'm here I have to take the canvases off the frames and
So-
then put on a new one.
And you said you like to paint them on frames? Or you prefer
Yes,
like
on
the wall
frames
on
because
frames?
the canvas gets a little curly and
Oh,
bends.
I understand,
and,
yes.
I need to have it stretched.
Oh, I like that. That's very
And you
cool.
see I paint flat.
Mm-hmm.
because
Oh, that was
I-
actually going to be my next question.
Yeah.
When you're painting, are you standing up, are you sitting down, or are you painting the paintings on the floor?
Mostly I paint them on a table, on a big table.
Uh-huh.
Because I have to paint them flat because I use a lot of water
Oh.
and then it's flowing over, and if I have them up on the wall it will be just pouring down and I cannot control what happens.
Oh, wow. That's an amazing technique. I didn't know. Wow.
So, but right now this is on the floor because the stretching bars were so bad, so it bends in all directions.
Oh, I
so I have to
see.
put some stones on top of it
Yes,
to make it
to hold the weight.
lie
Yeah,
flat.
I understand what you mean. And do you have a preference? Like, what's your go-to medium? Do you prefer like oil, acrylic?
I use acrylics.
Acrylic. Okay. Very nice. I see a lot of people. Is that because it's much easier, as you said, to use with the water to get like all the dimensions that you like and textures?
Well, it's easier to work with because of there are no toxic.
Yeah. And it dries much faster.
And it dries much faster.
Yeah.
So, well, when I started at art school, that's what we all had to do because they didn't have any good.
Oil,
What do you call it? Air conditioning, or what do you call it when you get the air to be shifted out?
I'm not sure. What do you mean? Sorry.
Well, no, we couldn't
Okay.
use the oil there, so
Oh,
that's
okay.
why I started with it, and I have just
You
continued
loved it,
because
yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, I prefer acrylic too, much more. It's more free. You know, you have more freedom. You're not like, because oil has so many rules that you have to follow.
Yeah, but I like the gloss you get from the oil. So
The oil,
now
yeah.
I actually put on some gloss on some of these paintings. I borrowed some gloss from one of the artists here at
Oh, wow.
Mana to just try it out.
Oh,
Then
that's
it
so
looks a little
sweet.
more like oil when you have this
Yeah.
gloss on.
And do you like being able to like be in this residency program as Cafe Mena, where you can like kind of like talk to other people and have like that creative community? Are you a big fan of that?
Yes, I really like that.
Mhm.
And that's one of the important things well, I'm here to get inspiration
Yeah.
from other artists to see what they are doing and to hear about their process and maybe get some feedback on what I am doing.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And do you find yourself like sometimes when you're painting, like when you're painting, are you painting in the quiet? Are you listening to music? Like, do you have the TV on? What's that like process like for you?
Well, I like having some music. That's here where we are many people in the same room. We can't do that. So
Yeah.
I miss that because
Yeah.
in my studio at home I always have music.
Yeah. And what kind of genre do you like of music? Like jazz, rock?
Yes, some jazz, some
Jazz.
like calm jazz.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. I love jazz. And do you sometimes feel like depending on the music and not just your mood, but like the music you're listening to that can like influence the outcome of your painting?
Yes, it can actually.
Yeah.
It can. So I have to have some music that suits to what I'm doing.
Oh, I like that. And like, what's the next step for you? Where do you see yourself after this residency program at Mana Contemporary?
Well, I'm going back to Norway, obviously, where I
Yeah.
live, and I hope I can paint my whole life. I really love painting, and I'll have a solo show at my gallery in December. So then I'll probably show a lot of these paintings I've made here.
Oh, that's amazing. Do you mind telling us your Instagram just so people can like look at the work? Cause I get a lot of like questions about the podcast where I normally wait till the very end to talk about the Instagram and the socials, but now people have been saying, say the socials first so we can like look at the artwork while we're listening to the podcast. So do you mind sharing with us your Instagram handle?
Yes, it's Heidi Jar Kirkeby.
Okay. Do you mind spelling that for us? Because it's a little complicated.
Yes, it's HeidiJahr
Perfect.
Kirkeby.
Perfect.
It's a little long.
No, but that's good. It makes you stand out. And do you mind sharing your website as well, please?
Yes, that's heidikirkeby.no.
Okay, perfect.
And
and
there
are
you can find my Instagram as well.
perfect? Yeah, that might be a little easier, right? And are you open to any commissions? Because I had a few previous artists. Once the podcast went live, other people were like reaching out to me to ask them. So I kind of like to put the info of the artist so they can directly reach out to you. Are you open to commissions? Like if somebody wants to message you and they want like a special painting for their loved one for special like holiday or season, are you open to a commission?
Yes, I could be open for that. Yes,
Yeah,
that would be nice.
it's always good, right? And then how early in your career, like in your life, did you know you wanted to be an artist?
Well, actually, I've always wanted to be an artist, but I studied economics.
No,
so
wow.
I have a master in economy.
That's amazing.
When I was an adult, I started to study art. So.
And did you always find yourself, like, as a kid, like, always drawing or, like, being interested in the arts? And did it ever, like, click with you? Because for me, it didn't. Like, I never thought, there's only, like, one Picasso and that's it. Like, this is once-in-a-lifetime person. Did you ever think, like, this is, like, something I would like to be full-time, but I don't know how that works? Or did you think, no, I have to get a real job, and if I'm lucky, I can do, like, art as a hobby?
Yes, it was kind of the last one because it's very difficult to live from being an artist. So, as an economist, it was of course a very bad decision to become an artist. But I am lucky to be able to do this now.
Absolutely, and I'm glad you are because your work is beautiful. And do you find being from Norway, has being from that, like the country you were born in, impacted your work? Do you like find pieces of your culture in your paintings?
Well, I suppose nature is a very important thing in Norway. It's a big country and we are few people.
Yeah.
And most Norwegians tend to use a lot of time out in the nature to be active in nature, to go hiking, skiing, bicycling.
Oh wow, so that was like something you just grew up in, like going to nature, being in nature.
So I always found calm enjoy in being in nature. So that's probably why you can see that in
Yeah,
my paintings
absolutely.
as well.
And what kind of nature do you like? Like, do you like just like walking in the forest, hiking, or like something crazy like kayaking or mountain climbing? What does nature mean to you?
I like all kinds
All
of
kinds
nature.
of nature.
I do. So both the mountains and the sea and the
Mhm.
forest and
Oh, wow.
the meadows. I like it all.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I love that. And then how many paintings have you created since you've been in this residency? Because it seems like
I think I made 14 big ones.
14? Oh,
and
wow.
then some four or five smaller sketches.
Oh, wow. That is so
So
cool.
it's been a lot.
Yes, congratulations. You're very disciplined. I love it. And I like how it almost seems like all the paint, we're in her studio right now and I'm looking at her artwork. And it kind of seems like all of the paintings here are separate in their own, but they're almost like part of a family. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's almost like they're related in a way, but they're so different in their each uniqueness. And I really love that.
I think I have to pick some of them for the reception. It's too crowded
Okay.
here now because they are hanging too close to each other.
Mhm.
But now I'm working on them, so they
Mm-hmm.
just need
No,
to
yeah, I
be,
see what you mean.
just need to be surrounded by them to see what more to do
Yeah.
during the process.
So are you finished with the current paintings that you have in your studio right now, or will you be adding anything to it, or it's all ready?
No, most of them I think are finished, but I
Finished.
might add some things
Okay.
to some of them.
No, because I was going to say they look so beautiful.
Thank you.
They look really
Glad to
beautiful.
hear.
That's amazing. So how long has this residency been? Because I know it's like a summer residency. It's different from other ones.
Yes, it's only for July, so it's 1 month.
Oh, wow. And you
So,
did that many paintings in 1 month? Congratulations.
Well,
Wow.
it's actually been only 3 weeks now.
3
and
weeks?
This week is the last.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing that not only you created 14 pieces, large pieces of art, smaller ones, and also as you said you had the chance to like go in the art scene.
Yes,
And
we've been very active.
Yeah. I need to know what kind of coffee you're drinking because I want the same one, please. Or maybe it's a lot of Red Bulls. And how do you see like the art scene in Europe versus like in America? Do you see like any difference?
Well, yes, I see that the prices are much higher here
Yeah.
in the States than at
Mhm.
home. And, well, you know, New York is kind of the capital of art in the world, so you can, there's so much to see.
Yeah.
It's so big. There's
Yeah.
so many talented artists to
Yeah.
see.
And when you're like in museums or art galleries, are you like observing, like how do you take art? Like how do you see other people's artwork? Do you just like quickly look at it? Like do you want to know everything about it? Do you try to see like where they started painting, where they finished it? Or you just like how do you get inspired by other artists?
Well, when I see something I like, I can study it
Mhm.
and study the brush strokes, the compositions, the colors, taking some close-up photos to see what they've been doing. But when I see something I'm not interested, I
Mhm.
could
You
walk
just go-
quite quickly by and choose the ones
I love
really
that.
like.
And do you have like a favorite artist? Like when people ask you, like you're like, oh, this artist. Or do you have a few artists?
Yeah, well, maybe right now it's Helen Frankenthaler,
Mhm,
since
as you
that's,
previously mentioned, yeah.
I'm studying right now.
Mhm.
But as a Norwegian, I of course love Edvard Munch.
Oh, yeah. And do you also find inspiration in other fields of art, like music, fashion, or is your inspiration like mainly in the art world?
Well, mainly in the art world, but I also do some sculpturing.
Okay. Fabulous. And going back to when you're in the creative process, like in your studio, you mentioned you listen to jazz. Do you mind sharing with us like who your favorite albums or singers are that you're always listening to?
There are so many.
So many.
It's difficult to pick
it's
someone,
okay.
yeah.
It's okay. Do you want to tell me a little bit more about your work, like the description and more info?
Well, these nature abstractions, they, as I told you, they express atmospheres, and these
Mhm.
atmospheres can also be interpreted as personal moods.
Mm-hmm.
So
I
I
love
hope
that.
that's something people can feel when they see the
Yeah.
paintings.
No, absolutely. And just now that I'm here in your studio, once you're in nature, like, do you see your paintings like when you get inspired while you're in the moment? Do you see your paintings like finish right there and then? Or as you mentioned, it's just kind of like a journey that once you start, you don't know where it's going to take you.
Oh, it's a journey.
It's a journey.
I live with my paintings on the wall for quite a long time, and they can maybe be hanging there for a month, and then I suddenly see I have to change these colors or this composition, and well, they're kind of maturing.
Yeah, no, I love that. And did you ever paint something that you didn't understand at the moment, but then maybe like weeks or months went by, you like reflected back and you're like, oh my gosh, what I was going through in my life makes so much sense in this painting? Did that ever happen to you?
Yes, that can happen, and I also feel I get influenced by the seasons. You know, when it's spring, it tends to be lighter colors.
Lighter,
Winter, it tends to get darker
Darker,
colors, even
yeah.
if I don't really think that much about it. It just happens.
And do you have a favorite season?
I like them all.
You like them all?
Yeah.
Do you ever notice like which season you're able to like create the most or have like the most amount of work done, or?
Well, that's probably the winter time, because
Winter.
then I have most time to do the paintings.
Yeah, and there's not much to do, so why not just create art, right?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's cold outside and you
Perfect.
have time to be inside to do the work. Yeah.
Love that. Well, thank you so much, Heidi, for being on the podcast. Thank you for having me. I know you have a reception Thursday. I know you're super busy, so I really do appreciate you taking the time to meet with me, and I'm very grateful. Yeah, I would definitely say follow Heidi. Do you want to share again your Instagram and we'll just share your website, whatever you're comfortable with, in case people want to double check.
Yeah, so I think the easiest would be to go to my
Website,
heidikirkeby.no.
No, perfect. Thank you so much again, Heidi. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Tarik Talk. Follow Tarik Talk on all social media channels and check out the video interviews online. This is Tarik Talk. Your host, Tarik Mendes, takes you on a journey with guests from all around the world, broadcasting around the world. Around the world. This is Tarik Talk.
Hello guys, today I'm in Mana Contemporary at the ASCAF residency program with June and Sira. How are you, June?
I'm fine, thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. I have to say you have a very good speaking voice. I'm sure the listeners will love. Your voice is very relaxing,
Really?
very tranquil. We're surrounded by her beautiful artwork. If you guys want to come check it out Thursday, the reception is Thursday. It's a must-see. Do you want to start off by telling us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, I'm an artist from Norway. I paint figurative. I paint with tempera, which is an old recipe with egg and oil and water.
Oh, wow.
And it's you have to use it quickly because it dries. So you have to put one color at a time, or the other colors will dry. So it's not the same as using oil, and you can just put on top and on top, or have a lot of colors on your palette. And
that's so cool.
So
I had no idea. I was actually gonna ask you because it's so colorful and so many textures,
it's like,
but you can't really tell. Wow.
Yes, when you paint with tempera, the sort of the oil and egg goes in, and the pigment stays on top.
Yeah.
So you have to have a certain ground. You can't use any ground primer. Yes, primer, because you need a special primer that I make to make the pigment stay on top.
Stay on top.
And that's really like the lightning. So,
oh wow! Yeah. And how long ago did you start this medium? Like, is this something that you started?
No, I started with oil, and
with
then
oil.
Like all artists, after some years,
you
can't.
Yeah.
Yes, because headaches every day.
Oh my God! Yeah.
Yeah, because of the turpentine. Because I loved using turpentine,
yeah,
of course.
Yeah.
So you have to stop. You have to figure another way.
Mm-hmm.
And tempera was
Yeah.
And I love tempera now. Now I love it. Or it has
that.
really good qualities, but
Yeah.
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 So,
And what's your creative process like?
I usually just start on a painting. I
wow,
decide the same day or the night before. I seldom make sketches.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I just draw what I memory, but usually last years I've drawn from photos.
Mm-hmm. Oh wow.
So yes, I just go through photos and I find something I like and I just started painting it.
Oh wow,
so
that's amazing.
yes.
And then how soon until you get an idea in your mind that it goes from an idea to a painting for you? Is that like right away or?
Right away. Yes.
Oh
it's
wow,
like,
right away.
Yes,
oh wow.
it's like the same day.
Yeah,
or
that's
the
amazing.
night before, and I start the day
Wow.
after. So
And do you normally do you kind of like sketch a painting before, or you just go onto the
No,
painting?
I sketch.
Sketch,
Usually
okay.
sketch. Before I didn't sketch when I
Mhm.
used oil, but now with tempera I sketch because when you put tempera on, the best you just have to do it in one go. If you
Mhm.
put another color on top, it sort of kills the
pigment,
the pigment that
Oh,
goes on
wow.
top. So you have to just do it in one go. So that's why I sketch now.
That's amazing.
Yes.
And do you find yourself like in your everyday life? Do you how do you keep track of your ideas? Do you write them down? Do you just let them stay in your mind?
Sometimes they just when I see movies
Mm-hmm.
and I get a lot of pictures that I would like to
Yeah.
make.
Also, while you're watching the movie, you're taking
which
pictures. Oh, I love
while
that.
I watch
yeah.
the movies, so I sort of have to I have to remember that. And sometimes I go back and take a photo. Sometimes I just stop the film and take a photo right away.
Oh, I love that. That was
So-
actually going to be a question. Does your brain ever relax? Are you an artist that you can enjoy real life and when you're not in the studio, or are you always inspired? Are you always looking for beauty to bring onto your paintings?
Yes, you are always. But when I do relax, it's actually when I watch television.
Yeah.
Even though I see things I like that as well,
Mhm.
so maybe I don't relax, but that's when I feel I relax.
Mhm. And what are you inspired by? Just TV, music, art, fashion?
Life, yes. Life
Everything.
and every day, yes. Of course, going to galleries, seeing the
Mhm.
big artists.
Mm-hmm.
That's really when I need something. You just
Yeah.
go to a museum.
And when you go to galleries, are you able to relax, or are you looking at all the colors, thinking oh, how did they do that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I go close up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I love that. I love
so
that.
sometimes sort of no, you're too close.
Yeah. And during your residency program here at Cafe Mena Contemporary, have you been able to step away from the studio, go look at art, or have you just been creating nonstop?
No, we have been going to see arts. We
Oh,
have going
cool.
to galleries and museums, and we've been visiting a lot of artists here.
Oh, nice.
And it's been very nice.
Yeah.
There are some great artists here.
Yes. And you mentioned you're from Norway,
Yes.
right? Do you live in Norway currently?
Yes,
Yeah.
I do.
And then do you have a studio space there with other artists around, or just you?
No, that's what's so different. I work alone. I go to my studio, see no one.
Oh wow.
I
Me
often,
too. Right.
often forget to eat.
Yeah.
And just work till I now I have to go home and
Yeah,
eat.
until you're so tired about to pass out, right?
So, and I love hearing. I always listen to music when I work.
Mhm.
So this is very different
Yeah.
from what I'm used to. But it's been nice
Mhm.
to be with others and get inputs.
Yeah.
Because I'm not used to that.
Yeah, that was actually going to be my next question. Are you an artist that while you're creating, do you like to hear feedback, or do you prefer to finish a painting and then hear what people have to say?
No, I would like feedbacks, but
not
many see them. So
So you'd like the feedback while you're creating or afterwards?
Yes, I would like that as
oh
well.
wow, that's very amazing. A lot of
People
artists that I
don't-
interview, they're
okay,
don't
no,
come
no,
near me.
I would love that because I was told when I went to Chelsea School of Art that someone should stand beside me and take my paintings away.
Oh my gosh.
So I didn't overdo them because sometimes you overdo it.
Yeah, it's very hard to like
yeah,
less is more.
yeah.
That's what I think the trick is to learn.
You have to learn to go home when you're tired, or you're just going to ruin it.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And you mentioned listening to music while you create. Do you have like a favorite artist or genre of music?
Because I don't have time to sort of change anything, or I haven't made a.
Oh, you just keep it playing?
I just listen to the radio, really.
Oh wow, that's amazing. And do you find like the music that you're listening to the radio, like it impacts your work?
No.
No?
No, it just something makes me relax.
Gives you like an energy boost, like a coffee, right?
Yeah.
So you mentioned you're very quick from the idea to go from your head to the canvas. When you first go in your studio, do you need like a few minutes to like to have a coffee, think about what you're doing, or like as soon as you come in, you're ready to go?
I'm ready to go.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
Yes, yeah.
Wow. And do you normally like to work in the daytime or nighttime? Like, do you have a preference, or whenever inspiration?
I prefer to work in the daytime.
In the daytime?
Because I don't like. I always use the light, because tempera needs daylight.
Yeah.
So I never use these lamps.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah.
And do you like? And when you're, let's say, like when you're stuck for inspiration and you're not having any good ideas for paintings, what do you do for yourself that you're able to bounce back? Like, do you go in nature? Do you go to like museums and galleries?
Yes, both.
Both?
I love to go in the nature. That's really relaxing.
Oh wow.
So, and it's relaxing to going to galleries, museums.
Yeah.
Because I don't look at everything like some do. They go from one picture to the other. I go through and I stop, and I can stay a while if that painting says something to me.
Oh wow.
So, yeah.
Have you ever, like when you create your paintings, do you ever create something that you don't like? Like, are you the type to throw it out, or do you repaint it, or do you just leave it to the like side for a few weeks?
It's like the painting. I have an idea, and the painting has another idea. It just is that way, and then I just have to go with the painting. But then I know I have to make another one.
Okay.
To try and make the first idea, and that's why I often end up with 3 or 4 of the same motive.
Oh wow.
Painted very differently. So.
And this residency program was, I believe, the month of July, right?
Yes.
Were you able to create a lot, like, of art, or go deep in your work? Like, what has been your experience here?
Going big, because my space is not that big, so that's why I have
only
3 paintings, and they are quite big.
Yeah.
And so this would be very big in my studio. So that's what's been. Oh, that's been really nice to have a big space.
No, they're lovely. And what are, like, who are your inspirations? Like, who do you look up to, or do you have like any other artists? It could be like music or art artists.
Of course, Munch. Edvard Munch,
okay,
of course.
Yeah.
And God, there are so many. Van Gogh, it's completely still. The one I like so much, American.
Yeah.
Who do you think I look like?
Would
you recognize him in my work? Who I like?
That's a tough question. I'm suffering from jet lag, and I just woke up not like 2 hours ago. It's very difficult, because I would say there's so many different elements. You know, the colors are so vibrant, and the texture, and the way you use shading and shadow is like perfection. So yeah, I would say that's a little difficult for me, because I think your work is very unique.
And I'm really, really blank.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I don't know. It's just, to me, it's just so unique. I wouldn't be able to compare it to anybody. What do you think?
What?
Like, when you see your work, like, do you see pieces from different artists, or?
Yes, I probably see pieces from different artists.
Is each painting, as you mentioned, like a photograph that you have before?
It's a photograph I usually have taken.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So
that's amazing.
usually they are my photographs.
Yeah.
Yes, my private.
And do you ever paint yourself?
No, I've only done it once, I think.
Yeah. Do you like to, or no?
No, I don't like to.
No? Why not?
Because it's easier to paint others.
Mm-hmm.
And
I agree.
even though I paint others I see myself in them.
Yeah.
So I paint myself in every painting.
Yeah. No, I understand what you mean. I'm like that too. Yeah. Yeah, I love painting people, but painting myself, I start to think too much. You know, it's like so fluid when you paint other people. It's so easy. It's like energy, you know.
Yeah.
And then I see there's like so much like daylight space. You mentioned you previously, I'm guessing Norway, you guys have like a restriction on daylight, like it gets darker.
Especially in the winter.
Especially in the winter.
It's dark at 4.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So do you find
maybe? Yeah,
5?
4.
Wow.
No,
Do you find yourself like creating more or less on depending the season, like artwork wise?
No, I think it's the same.
The same.
Or in the spring, of course. Spring, you have long hours.
Yes,
so
yes.
when the spring comes and the summer. So
Yeah. Do you think that changes your mood and your ideas and inspirations?
I think so,
Yeah.
yes.
Do you think for the good or for the bad, or a little bit of both?
I think for the good.
For the good. And like, what's your next step after this residency program? Like, where like, do you have any plans coming up?
I have a separate exhibition in Oslo
Okay.
next year at Gallery Rangfjord.
Oh wow. Okay.
And I'm going to be a part of an exhibition she has in the US this autumn. I think it was in September with
Oh wow. Okay.
8 portraits.
Wow.
So,
That's fabulous.
Yeah.
Okay, June, do you want to share with us your Instagram, please?
It's June.Sira.
Yes, so add June.Sear. So go please follow her. Fabulous artist, fabulous person. And also I wanted to ask, do you plan, like, do you see yourself trying different mediums for the future?
I also paint with rabbit skin glue and
what is
pigments.
that? Wow, that sounds so exotic.
And
what is
water.
that?
It's so, and then you don't need the primer.
Oh, wow.
You just directly onto the canvas.
Yeah.
So I do that as well. That looks a bit like watercolor.
I can imagine. That's so
Yes,
fascinating.
So I do that as well.
Oh, wow. And do you, sorry, go ahead.
Often draw. I often,
often
draw
draw?
a lot
Oh, wow.
and use a little bit of rabbit skin glue on
Oh,
that
that's so
drawing.
cool.
So
And do you keep all of your work? Like, do you have like an archive of all the work you created or pictures of it?
I have an archive of everything I've sold to people.
Oh, that's
so
amazing.
I sort of have all the
that's
names.
good too.
That's good.
Do you ever go back to like your old work if you're like stuck on a painting and you try to reference like a little piece of this, a little piece of that,
Yes,
and
I
combine
do
it?
that sometimes, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I was told when I made art, and then especially printmaking, because that's what I started with, and my professor said, always keep the best one for yourself.
Oh wow, that's
For you.
amazing!
Yes.
I love that.
So I have all of my.
That's so genius.
Yes, so
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And growing up, like, did you always feel you wanted to be an artist?
I didn't think about it, but I
Yeah.
loved drawing, so
Yeah.
I was always drawing.
Oh wow.
But when it came to the point that, what should I do now?
Yeah.
You know, after school, I thought, no, I just want to draw.
That's
So
amazing.
That's what I did.
Yeah, because I
that's
feel
why-
a lot of people I interview, they don't like they dream and their ambition is to be an artist, but they don't really know how to do that until they get
No.
older. And one question I always get from young artists that they like send to me to ask future guests is, what's an advice do you have for like a young artist that they know they want to be an artist, they feel it in their bones, but they don't know the next step to do? Like, do you have any suggestions?
No, you just have to do it, because you won't be happy if you don't.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
that's true.
just do it.
And another question that I get asked a lot, when somebody gets like a creative block where they can't come with any, like they don't get any inspirations, any new ideas, what's something that worked for you in the past when you're kind of stuck and you're not able to like, you're not creating work that you love? Like, were you able to like surpass that in any way? Like, would you have any advice to give to people that, I don't know if it's in English, that's how you say it, like creative block, I forget.
Yeah.
Sorry, English is my second language. You know, like when you don't have any good ideas for
Yeah.
like a month or two, what's an advice that you would tell people to like, is
I
it like,
often take a break.
you take a break?
Yeah.
And like, do you take
Not
a
a
break
long
completely
break,
for
but-
art or?
Just take a break, go to a museum,
Oh,
and
okay.
it'll come.
Okay.
Sort of.
So just trust the process,
Yes,
basically. I
yes.
like. June, do you think being from your country has impacted your work today? Like, do you see like any parts of your work having something to do with your culture and your background?
Of course, it has to do with my background, because it's me. It's everything I've experienced, and the culture is people. Culture is in everyone, I think.
Yeah.
So it's natural that it shows.
Yeah. And do you think that gets transferred to your art?
Yes, I really think they do.
Yeah. I like that. And have you ever done any collaborations with other artists when it comes to art?
No.
No? Is that something you'd be interested in to do, or
I don't know.
maybe further down?
Maybe.
Who knows, right? That's the beauty of art.
Yeah.
You never know. All right, June, thank you so much for having me here. I know you have the Thursday reception and today's Monday, and I really appreciate for taking the time. I know you're very busy.
Yeah, that's very nice.
Everybody, please come to the Thursday reception and check out June. Once again, it's at june.sira Instagram. Beautiful work. Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for being with us today. And I'm so excited people get to hear about your background, your work, and they get to see your artwork on Instagram as well. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Tarik Talk. Follow Tarik Talk on all social media channels and check out the video interviews online. This is Tarik Talk. Your host, Tarik Mendes, takes you on a journey with guests from all around the world, broadcasting around the world. Around the world. This is Tarik Talk.
All right, guys, today we are here with Louise Dininger at the Mena Contemporary. She's a member of the ESCAF residency.
Yes.
Did I pronounce that correctly?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay, cool. Thank you so much for being here, Louise. How are you today?
Thank you. I'm doing good.
And I have to say, you have such a beautiful voice, such a soothing voice. So I'm sure like the listeners will love to hear you talk.
Thank you very much.
Of course. Do you want to start by telling us a little bit about yourself?
Well, hi, I am Louise Dininger, and I'm an artist, a conceptual artist in a contemporary way. And my work is interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary, which means that I use different mediums to do my work, such as painting, sculpting, collages, performances, film.
Oh, wow.
And I also use the material of dung in my artwork.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so as a conceptual artist, I'm very much interested in my audience, as in the human and their relationship to everything else. So consciousness is one of the topics that I cover. So it ranges from mundane to really deep work.
Yeah.
Consciousness, spiritual science, metaphysics, quantum theory, identity, gender, or feminist. The topics range from consciousness to spiritual science to metaphysics to self-leadership, self-development, identity, queer, feminist, and all that kind of agendas. So yeah, it varies from what I'm inspired to produce.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. I gotta ask you, what energy drink or coffee are you drinking to be able to do all of this? You must be like working 24 hours, it seems, no?
Well, it's not as complicated as it sounds. Yeah, I'm in the flow. It just goes with the flow. So it depends. Sometimes the projects are small and sometimes they're big. However, I'm constantly in a creative process, so to speak. Yes.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
I actually wanted to ask about creative process. What's your creative process like? Like when you go to the studio, do you get to work right away? Do you kind of relax, have like a coffee, chill out a little bit, then get to work? Do you work in the daytime, nighttime? What's your preference?
That's a very good question. Actually, I disciplined myself way back when I was doing my MFA at the Academy of Fine Arts University in Vienna, Austria, where I live. I also live in northern Uganda. Well, I disciplined myself to, like, when I get to the studio, the first thing I do, change into my studio clothes and start working immediately. That's the first thing I do when I get to my studio. So usually I get to my studio around about 10 o'clock in the morning, and I produce until maybe 5, 6. It depends on how inspired I am. Sometimes it can go a bit longer.
Oh, wow.
So I have a routine, Monday to Friday I'm in my studio. Unless I'm working on another project, then the weekends will be squeezed in. Yeah, so that's my routine basically.
That's beautiful. And how do you handle, like, if you go to the studio and you start to create, but you're not really getting out what you had in mind? Like, do you normally stop for the day, or do you push yourself? Like, how do you balance that?
Well, the thing is, I have again disciplined myself to always be working on a project. It can be something very small, like a painting or a sculpture or an object that I'm working on. So usually there's something that I have to create in my studio, and it's an ongoing process. So I start a painting and then I'll finish it, or continuously working on it. I work in series, so I'll be working on series. So basically when I'm in my studio, there is stuff to be done. I never really get into a situation whereby, I'm not inspired to do something. So no, it doesn't happen.
And then also I wanted to ask about ideas. Where do ideas come for you? Like, do you have to be in motion, like driving, traveling, or do you have to be still? Like, how does inspiration come to you?
Well, being a conceptual artist, my work is research-based.
Okay.
Which means that I'm constantly researching and also experiential, in the sense that, I am an embodiment of what I'm producing. So I'm basically constantly inspired, be it, when I'm coming out of the train and going to my studio, or I find something online. There's always the archive in my brain is just so full of material. Oh, wow. So I'm inspired all the time. Oh, yes, wow.
Are you able to relax and or is your brain always thinking, always inspired?
Well, again, as I said, with experiential knowledge and the spiritual science that I depict in my work, it is also a practice. Okay. So I do my meditation. Oh, wow. Deep concentration, prayer, and meditation every morning. I've been doing that for the last 25 years.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
That's why you have amazing energy. I was about to say, meditation changed my life, and I just recently started getting back to it and be disciplined. But you have amazing energy. You're so peaceful, and just tranquility. So it's a pleasure talking to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. So I've got a morning routine. I do my meditation just to empty everything and to connect. Yes. And then start my day.
Perfect. Beautiful. And before this residency, did you always, when you're creating in your space, do you enjoy having people around you, or do you find that distracting?
That's a very good question. After I finished my MFA, I was fortunate enough to be involved in a project in Vienna. And it's Floristoff Museum of Young Contemporary Art, and it is also a studio. It has studio spaces, so it's a museum with studio spaces. So I've always worked in a collective, which I think is inspiring for me as an artist, because then I've got my colleagues who are always there. We work on projects together. We speak to our works and influence each other and support each other, where possible, because it's things that you can do. There's certain things that you're able to do and I'm not able to do. So supporting each other in that way. And it doesn't bother me to have people around me. Yes. That's part beautiful. Of the process.
I just previously, before you, I interviewed Jay, and he had the most beautiful things to say about you.
Thank you.
And then we were talking about the same thing, having people to talk to and collaborate, mentally with ideas. And he said you guys really enjoy that, doing that together.
Absolutely. Yes. Jay is amazing.
Oh,
yes.
Shout out to Jay.
Yes.
And do you think having such a beautiful cultural diverse background like you have, do you think that influences your work?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm very happy and grateful that I was born in the family that I was born in, that I was born in the country that I was born in. I was born in Uganda, raised in Kenya, and grew up in the UK. Now I live in Austria, between Austria and northern Uganda, and I've also lived in other countries as well, such as Italy. Short breaks in Amsterdam. In Holland.
Oh, yes.
That's the word. Yes. So all these experiences I bring with me, and that finds itself into the works. Yes, so it's amazing. It's a gift to be able to be that person who interacts with so many, sees the world in different perspective, and I travel a lot too. So then my perspective is widened, and I'm able to bring this into my work. And this also supports the work in the sense that my audience usually find a way in which they connect with the work. So it speaks to a wide range of people. And that is mainly because of the experience that I bring with me and integrate it into my work.
Oh, well, that's beautiful. Hearing you say that, like with your travelers and all your knowledge and everything, it reminds me, I love Maya Angelou. And my favorite quote that she says is, I come as one, but I stand as 10,000.
Yes.
It kind of reminds me of that, all your knowledge, or your artistic knowledge and talent, coming into one body and having all of that around you. That's beautifully said.
Yes.
And what are you working on at the moment right now?
Whoa, another very good question. I just finished the paintings at Esquef. And the topic was quite amazing. Journey home. Through the spirit of the ancestors.
Wow.
So this was also a work that I invited other people to be involved in, especially women of color, indigenous women. And Jay was was included in this work. Yeah. So what happened in this series, there was contribution, and grandmothers came up quite a bit in the works. Yes, so basically it was a way in which I also appreciate and give voice to all those who supported me in that project. And also, to give them this platform whereby, a lot of people are going to be coming to see this show. And I'm also working with another artist downstairs, Daston. He's a photographer. So we're doing a collaboration together. I'm going to finish that this week.
Oh, wow, that's beautiful.
Then I'm back to Vienna. I need vacation after this 3 months of, really working
endless
hard.
creativity,
yes.
Right? And will you be back in the area after that?
No, then I'm going to Africa.
Okay.
And then I'll be back in Arizona in end of August. Yes, however, I have quite a few exhibitions coming up in Vienna, so I'm going to be working on that after my vacation. Yes.
That's so cool. So when I originally started this podcast, my idea was to kind of like interview the same person almost every year or every 2 years. So I'm very much looking forward to like seeing each other in like another year or two.
Yes,
maybe in a different country or continent, and then catching up and seeing like how much you've gone.
Yeah.
Because I think it's very interesting, not only for the audience, they get to like kind of grow with you,
Beautiful.
but also they get to hear like a new episode and then go listen to your old episode. Be like, wow, look how much like what she was talking about 2 years ago. It's like exactly how she planned, and you know what I mean?
Yes.
So I'm very much looking forward for the future.
Thank you
very
much.
Hopefully we see each other.
Thank
you so much for being on this podcast. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
So I get a lot of written messages from young artists that always ask me, can you please ask your future guest this question? So a question that a lot of people ask is, what would you tell like a young artist that knows in their soul they want to be an artist, but they don't know like what's the next step, or they're not taken seriously by their parents or their family or their surrounding? Is there any advice you would tell them?
That's a very, very good question, and an important one. If and when you have a passion for what you do, stick to it.
Mm-hmm.
and remain true to yourself, in the sense that, and this I noticed in the art industry or in the art market, that a lot of people tend to follow trends.
Yeah.
So, remain authentic to your voice and continue pursuing your passion and fall in love with what you do and be your first client or your first customer, as in love what you do as an artist. And then just keep going. You never know when that door will open. And the door opens according to how much effort and how much work you have put into your process. So it is a journey. It needs a lot of patience. So don't be impatient. Just continue doing what you do. In the end, the benefits that you will get is really mind-boggling. However, it needs you to stay true to yourself and keep going and keep doing what you need to do. Some artists say, oh, well, I have to hustle on the side. Of course, we all have to pay our bills. We all have to survive, That doesn't mean that you cannot stay true to what you love doing, So once you continue to just focusing on your work and doing what you need to do as an artist, you will meet success at a very unexpected hour. In my case as well, my family couldn't understand why I chose to do art. They would have expected me to maybe be a lawyer or
a doctor.
Be a leader. I am a leader,
Absolutely.
So they expected me to follow that path. However, my calling was different. So I am able to also change the world through what I do and also earn from what I do. And it's a process. It's a journey. It needs a lot of discipline. It needs a lot of commitment. It needs consistency. It needs belief, especially believing in yourself and your worth, and everything else will just follow.
Oh my gosh, I have goosebumps. That was beautifully said. I feel like you could do anything. Seriously, you could even be like a life coach with what you just said. It's so motivational, and I really hope the listeners really take that away, if anything, from
Thank
today.
you. I'm trained as a coach as well.
No way. Oh my God. There isn't anything that you don't do as serious. I'm telling you. I need to know what coffee and energy
I'm a satisfied leadership coach.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm so glad we met today.
Thank you.
And do you mind sharing with us your Instagram and website, please?
Yes. Louise Deininger is my Instagram handle, and my website is www.louisedeininger.com.
Beautiful. And are you open to commissions if people reach out to you? Can you do it through your Instagram or your website?
I do have my collectors, and from time to time they commission me to do work.
Okay.
And I have my agent and manager, so everything is done through my manager and agent.
Okay, perfect. So they can just reach out to you on Instagram, and you can just direct them to the other people.
Yes.
All right, perfect. It's been a pleasure having you here today. Thank you so much for taking the time with your beautiful story, and it's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Tarik Talk. Follow Tarik Talk on all social media channels and check out the video interviews online. This is Tarik Talk. Your host, Tarik Mendes, takes you on a journey with guests from all around the world. Broadcasting around the world. Around the world. This is Tarik Talk.
Hey guys, we are here today at the Mana Contemporary, and I'm getting a chance, so lucky to get a chance to talk to Padita. Padita, how are you today?
I'm good, thank you.
Thank you for being here. It's a pleasure to have you here today. Padita is part of the ESCAF residency. Am I getting that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah? Okay, cool. Do you want to start a little bit telling us about yourself?
Okay, I'm a British artist. I did a residency of SKF about 6 years ago and was invited back, but it took a little while to come back because a little pandemic got in the way.
Okay.
But yeah, so I've been here for 2 months working really hard and got 11 paintings done, and it's been great. Yeah,
that's amazing. And what's your creative process like?
Oh, that's a big question.
Like when you show up to the studio, are you able to get to work right away, or do you need to kind of like get a meditation or a coffee going and relax?
Well, coffee's definitely welcome.
Yes,
it's definitely welcome. But no, I usually know what I want to do of a day.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty motivated like that.
That's amazing. And do you have a preference of like time of day that you like to work? Are you like a night owl, or do you prefer the mornings?
Well, I've got 2 kids, so they've turned me into a morning person where I wasn't before. I've had no choice. So, I find it quite good to get in quite early.
Oh wow, 2 kids. You seem so. I thought like we were the same age. You seem so young. That's amazing.
Bless you.
And do you think because this is what I find very fascinating, artists that don't have children, this is like when I ask them, what do you see yourself for the future? Mm-hmm. This is like their main goal. It's like to have my kids, have them hopefully around me painting while I'm painting. Do you think having children as an artist has like impacted your work or inspired you in a way?
Well, both, yes.
Yeah.
And I think it can be a lot tougher on women than men, and I think history kind of bears that out, really.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, of course it sort of curtails a lot of what you can do and takes time and all the rest of it, but having my kids has also been a massive inspiration, and it's sort of, you have to sort your shit out. Do you know what I mean? You have to kind of get your priorities right and figure out what you want to do in life, what you want out of it. So I mean, if anything, it's made me more ambitious.
Mm-hmm. And do you find it like hard balancing like having kids and being an artist, like, or does that give you like kind of like an endless inspiration because you're kind of able to see the world through their perspective?
When I was younger, and when they were younger.
You're still young. Hello.
Oh, bless you. No, when they were little and I wasn't getting much sleep, then that was really, really, really tough.
Yeah.
Not so much now. In quite a good sort of routine with it. I get a lot of studio time. I get to go out and about in London a lot.
Wow.
But I mean, I wanted to do this residency, obviously, because New York is the biggest art mecca in the world. It's amazing. But also just to have a really fixed, concentrated time on my work. And so it's been really good doing that.
Well, that's amazing. And are you an artist that when you're working, do you enjoy having people around you? Like before this residency, did you like the output or having people around you, or did you find yourself getting distracted?
I'm quite good at knuckling down when I need to, so sort of drowning stuff out. No, I love interacting with other artists. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's so interesting, like endlessly meeting other artists and chatting about what they do. But yeah, I mean, being an artist, you are kind of on your own a lot with your head, and I'm fine with that. I can put my headphones on.
And you mentioned 11 paintings. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about them? Is it like a series?
Yeah, so it's sort of following on a bit from work I was doing in the UK, where they're sort of strange, objecty things floating in the sea. I mean, you could say surreal seascapes. I don't know, but a lot of them are sort of look like they're made of sort of ice cream and tiles from Subway or London Underground, or they're sort of about a lot of things. They're about sort of shifting forms and shifting time and challenging states of matter, sort of quantum physics-y stuff.
That's cool. And how does ideas come to you? Do you have to be in motion? Do you have to be still? Where do you get your ideas from?
Ooh.
Or is it spontaneous for you?
Well, I have to keep my sketchbook near me because you don't know, really.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I mean, you can't force ideas
or
whatever. You just have to keep sketching in your sketchbook, keep writing things down, and sort of see what floats to the surface.
Yeah.
And if it comes up, then that's a sign that it needs to be made.
Oh wow, that's very disciplined. So you always keep a sketchbook with you. Like if you have an idea, you just jot it down?
Yeah, I mean, I find that if I don't have the sketchbook near, it's kind of hard to get to sleep, because then I will start thinking of ideas, and I will start bubbling over.
Yeah.
But if my sketchbook's there, I can just quickly scribble something down, and then it's off my brain.
Oh wow,
so
that's very cool, because a lot of people, like for example, I just let my ideas incubate and it drives me crazy.
Yeah.
But I love when I get to talk to artists that they're so like disciplined in their craft, that they have the sketchbook, they're able to like jot it down right away. So congrats on that. That's really cool.
Well, it's quite a good one, because otherwise it would drive me crazy too. So it's good to have it. I know it's written down. I know it's drawn. So I can reference.
And I get a lot of these questions from young artists that they tell me to ask future guests. In terms of young artists that they feel in their soul they're an artist, they want to pursue that, but they're not sure what to do. What's an advice that you would give a young artist, like who knows they're an artist but they don't know exactly where to go or what to believe in?
I think there's kind of two parts to that question. There's sort of what the artist will produce, and I think you can't force that, and you shouldn't force it. You should just kind of live your life and see if it comes to you. Yeah. And if you want to do something, if you want to produce a certain type of work, then just work really, really hard at it and be prepared for a lot of it not to work out. Yeah. So I think there's that side of it. Because you have to kind of ask why you want to be an artist as well. I think that's a good question to ask yourself. Absolutely. But I suppose the second part to that question is, especially as young artists, knowing about the way the art world works and sort of navigating it and finding the bits of it that are good for you can be really tricky. And I mean, there's no simple answer to that, really. Yeah. I think just be interested and sort of go to as many galleries and shows as you can.
Well,
just
that's
figure
amazing
it out.
Advice. And my favorite question that I like to ask the guests is, what's an advice, like artistic business advice, that you would tell your younger self?
I don't know if I'd take my own advice, but I'd tell myself to not worry so much about what other people think, and just properly trust my instincts and go with it.
Oh, that's beautiful. And when you're done with the artwork, do you enjoy hearing like the critiques of the artwork, or do you prefer just to see people from afar enjoying your artwork?
I think it's important to get critique on your artwork for many reasons. It needs to be at the right time and at the right point. Yeah. Because sometimes if you're still kind of thinking about an idea or still in the middle of a work and someone criticizes it, it can really kind of sway where you go. But when you finish something, I mean, always, whether you buy into what people are saying or not, it's a gift. People giving you that critique is a gift, and you don't have to have it. You don't have to own it.
And you mentioned galleries and going to galleries in New York City. Is that something that you use for your like creative process? Like, look, like when you're going to galleries or seeing art, are you kind of like just using that moment to relax, or are you using that moment to get inspired and get creative ideas?
I suppose it depends what's in the gallery, really. So both of those things, and also because I like to know what's going on, and I like to have a feel for different spaces and learn about new artists. But you don't know if you're gonna go to a show and it's gonna be a bit meditative and sort of serene, or I went to the Whitney. What was the artist called? Josh someone. Sorry,
no worries.
I can't remember. But anyway, it was amazing.
Is it a current show at the Whitney?
Yeah. He does like there's some AI stuff. There's some 3D printing.
I can't remember the name.
I can't remember the name. Yeah. Anyway, it was like massively full on, and of the time. It was so now. It was so kind of dystopian, utopian future in your face. And it was amazing, but it was very overwhelming. So yeah, I like the surprise of it as well. You don't know. And if you see something on Instagram, it could look so different in life. Nothing can replace that, really.
Yeah. And do you ever like create an artwork that you're not sure about, you don't really understand it, but you go with it, but then later on you kind of look back and you're like, oh my gosh, I was like going through something and it reflected on that, but now I understand it and it makes much more sense to me now than it did back then when I finished it.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a quote, and I forget who said it, but someone said you can't live your life and understand it at the same time. And I scrawled it on my studio wall at home because I just thought, actually. Yeah, that's it, because sometimes it doesn't make sense, and it's a weird feeling because you're kind of, I don't know if it's your subconscious, but you're sort of ahead of yourself in some way. And
no, I get what you mean. And who are your influences? Like, who are you inspired by?
Oh, that's a big question. Who am I really digging right now? Fiona Banner, I'm checking out a lot. I really love Katie Patterson. You stumped me. There's too many. There's too many. I've seen so much amazing art here as well. I mean, I've just... my head's so full at the moment. I need to decompress.
Yes.
But, yeah.
And how do you do, like... One thing that I like learning about from other people is like your artistic self-care routine. Like, how are you able to like kind of unplug, and not have your mind constantly think all the time?
I don't know.
It just happens? Well,
not necessarily, but I know at the moment I've been working so hard that I need to unplug when I go home. And so I've got another artist using my studio at home, so I can't get in there for a week.
Oh wow.
Which I think's probably a really good thing.
Yeah. But that's kind of cool, like to go back and see like how they kind of use the space in a way that you never thought of. Yeah. Because it happened to me once.
Yeah, no, it is cool, and she's a friend of mine, and
oh, that's amazing.
And then I'll get my lovely studio back. I've missed it.
Yes.
But I think it's good to have that week just to get my bearings, get over my jet lag, decompress, and just
be still in a way, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right, so do you want to share with us any future projects you have coming up?
Yeah, sure. So currently I've got painting in the summer show at the Royal Academy back in the UK.
Oh wow, congrats.
Thank you. And I'm waiting on the John Moores Painting Prize, which is a big thing in the UK, but I've learned it's not here. So I've been telling people and they've been looking blank, but never mind. And I've got a show coming up, a group show in London, September, okay. And then quite a lot of other stuff brewing.
That's amazing.
And I'd love to come back here and exhibit because it's awesome over here.
Congrats. Do you mind sharing your Instagram and your website just so we can like follow you and then keep up with all your cool stuff?
So my Instagram is at Perdita Sinclair. That's PERDITASINCLAIR. Sorry, I always have to spell my name.
Yes,
no
please
one
do.
knows otherwise.
It's always best.
And my website's just perditasinclair.com.
Perfect. Easy breezy.
Yeah.
And are you open to commissions? Like if somebody hears this podcast and sees your work and they reach out to you through your Instagram or website?
I'm really happy for anyone to reach out to me, but because of the kind of work I do, it's not really commissionable, if that's good grammar or not. But they're welcome. Reach out, ask whatever you like, but it's not really commission work.
Perfect. Okay, no worries. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. It's been a pleasure. I'm so honored to have you here and getting to learn about you and your process. Thank you so much, Perdita.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Tarik Talk. Follow Tarik Talk on all social media channels and check out the video interviews online.